So, yeah, on Friday, the UK High Court approved the extradition of my brother Julian Assange. Julian has 2 weeks to lodge an appeal to the Supreme Court. But what this decision showed, I think, is that we can no longer rely on the UK to stop this extradition, and that the prosecution of Julian needs to be dropped here in the US. The UK has no First Amendment. They have no press freedom protection like you do here in the US. So we can't rely on them to stop this prosecution. I just want a massive thank you, obviously, to everybody who's come out today. It's great to see everyone here. The case against Julian, the prosecution against Julian, which is the first of its kind under the Espionage Act. He's the first publisher and journalist to be charged under the 1917 Espionage Act. Until now, the Espionage Act has been for whistleblowers. It's only been whistleblowers being prosecuted. So this is, it is an attack, like direct attack on press freedom, a direct attack on the First Amendment by the US DOJ, and it needs to be stopped. They've now approved the extradition. I think we try and look at the big picture. I think this was always going to go to the Supreme Court. Now it's just up to the UK to follow their own laws. Hopefully they don't break their own laws, but yes, very, very worried about it. This hanging over Julian's head is just increases the pressure on him now. So yeah, we live in fear that he won't make it through this, or that he will die basically during this process. I'm not in direct contact with him, but I do talk to his fiancée Stella and my dad. He has good and bad days. He's suffering after these 11 years. It's taken its toll on him. He has all these symptoms of psychological torture and things like that. So he's not the same man he was when all this began, and it's heartbreaking to see that happen to him.
That they are trying to sell us, that Merrick Garland and Joe Biden and Blinken and all the rest of them, and the New York Times and the Washington Post and the Daily Mail and the Guardian newspaper in England and all the rest of the mainstream media, including MSNBC and Fox News and all the rest of these lying MFs, are trying to sell us that this has something to do with the law. It doesn't. As Niels Meltzer, who, as I'm sure you all know, is the UN Special Rapporteur on Torture, who got involved in this case at the request of his employers, the United Nations of the peoples of this planet. Okay, and actually Niels constantly makes the point that when he was asked to look into the alleged torture, of Julian Assange, he was reluctant to do so because the propaganda that they spread about Julian and about the two ladies in Sweden had already permeated so deeply into our consciousnesses that even Niels Meltzer wrinkled his nose. Luckily, Niels Meltzer speaks many languages, including Swedish, and he looked into it and discovered that narrative was a pack of lies, completely made up as part of the United States and UK's government to demonize Assange and to put a stop to his work.
Well, because I live here. I live on this planet, and they're destroying it. And part of them destroying it is to incarcerate Assange. Assange is absolutely vital to the survival of this planet. That's it. And that's enough for me, because I have children and grandchildren, and I care about all my brothers and sisters. So for these arseholes to destroy the planet, and Assange is a very important part of how to stop them. So that's why they're locking him up.
A place to stay, enough to eat, somewhere old heroes shuffle safely down the street, where you can speak out loud about your doubts and fears, and what's more, no one ever disappears. You never hear their standard issue kicking in your door. You can relax on both sides of the tracks, and maniacs don't blow holes in bandsmen by remote control. And everyone has recourse to the law, and no one kills the children anymore. And I will rest on that.
The New York Times, the Washington Post had no problem publishing and commercializing and commodifying what Julian made available. And we don't hear anything from them now. And you would think that they would feel threatened for the future of what journalists are allowed to question. All of these trumped up charges and all of the hoopla, you know, clearly is a very vindictive time right now, because it's not based on anything that's been proven. People have misconceptions, and explain to them what's at risk here, and maybe also try to put some pressure on the New York Times and the Washington Post and who else published it, because the Guardian, that consider themselves, you know, the bastions of free speech, they didn't have any problem publishing this. So I would hope that we could somehow hold them responsible now to defend, if not Julian Assange, then the principle that truth should not be illegal. And we are, we should have the right to have the truth if this is a democracy. So have their kids in school, and then there's COVID and all that stuff that's going on. It's hard to root out this stuff. There's not a lot of room for explanation. That's a journalist's job. Mm-hmm. They're supposed to tell you this is happening, this is important, you know. But we don't hear about it when it deals with minorities. We don't, you know, we're still not, you know, Flint is just the same as what's going on in the Amazon and what's in Yemen. I mean, do we even...
8 years.
Yeah.
They don't have clean water. No one's gone to prison.
D.C. right now, they're doing nothing. They're standing by. Ari Melber and that crew, they're more interested in going to that bar at 30 Rock than they are.
200 days of consecutive tweets. 200 days, they're going to arrest me now.
Out of here, please. He follows me around everywhere. If I had more fans like him, I'd be a success.
Oh my God! No, they don't care about my suffering. No, they're not going to film it. They don't care. They don't care about me. My suffering.
It's all about you. It's all about you. You spent 2 years in prison. Why not even give it any time? So, let me is doing with the CIA and Vault 7. Aren't you happy that Julian Assange informed us of what the CIA has been doing for the last 500 years? They've been spying on us. They don't want us to know about it, but Julian, the great journalist, exposed them. He exposed the crimes in Iraq, the crimes in Afghanistan, the crimes in Honduras by Hillary Clinton, the crimes in Tripoli by Hillary Clinton and the Obama administration, and all the other crimes that the DOD and the Department of State has committed at corporations. He exposed all of it. We're informed. We have a right to know about it. We have a right. They don't want us to know about it. We paid their goddamn salary.
Eat, sleep, and get down. Well, we need to keep exposing these war crimes, because these are an escalating atmosphere of hostility. In November 2018, I was asked to conduct a 24 session of the anti-war opposition to the UK-US war on Iraq. Margaret Thatcher expanded across the Middle East. All the war-making state acts of most of us in the heroic whistleblowing of Chelsea Manning put the realities of the wars on Iraq and Afghanistan front and center.
We're gone in 1981. Every Thursday, as Roger and I and Katie talked about last night, every Thursday, with the support of the U.S. in 1975. And it was an ironclad dictatorship.